The 46th ASEAN Summit kicks off this weekend at a pivotal time for the region as Southeast Asia grapples with intensifying geopolitical rivalries, persistent security challenges and uncertain global economic winds. With Malaysia chairing ASEAN this year, all eyes are also on how it will shape the regional agenda moving forward. Here to unpack what is at stake is Dr. Oisan, Principal Advisor at Pacific Research Centre of Malaysia. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. Right. Now, what are the key issues that you expect to dominate the discussion at this summit this year? And with Malaysia chairing ASEAN, how do you see Malaysia setting the tone or agenda for this year's summit? Are there any specific priorities Malaysia might push forward?
Of course, when Malaysia took over the ASEAN rotating chairmanship, we put forward, for example, inclusivity as well as sustainability as the main theme for this year's ASEAN chairmanship. But of course, events have sort of overtaken all of us, right? With the imposition of very high tariffs by the United States. So now I think Malaysia's main role would be, for example, attempting to sort of forge a regional consensus as to how to deal with these sort of high tariffs, how to still promote free trade and so on. But of course, there are some regional issues which are also awaiting our attentions, such as the crisis in Myanmar, the tensions in South China Seas, and of course, we are looking forward to hopefully welcome Timor-Leste to be the latest ASEAN member.
Right, that's a lot to look forward to. Doctor, now ASEAN has been dealing with complex challenges like the South China Sea disputes, the Myanmar crisis, and also the great power competition in the region. Do you anticipate any meaningful progress on these issues during the summit?
Well, of course, Malaysia is a very capable chairperson or chairman, but ASEAN works on consensus. As long as there are some detractors among the ranks of ASEAN, it will be very difficult, for example, to try to find a consensus on issues relating to the South China Sea disputes. Very difficult to forge a sort of a common approach or common position on it. As to Myanmar, of course, well, because ASEAN also has this policy of non-interference in the internal affairs of its member states. So it's very difficult for ASEAN, frankly speaking, to be more meaningful, to be more proactive in terms of trying to resolve the Myanmar crisis. But I think what we can do in the face of all these geopolitical challenges is actually to make sure that the ASEAN Economic Community, this whole project which was adopted and adapted in the last Malaysian chairmanship of ASEAN, that it can really be implemented, that all ASEAN members could indeed build a common production base, common markets, and of course a free trade zone. Then we can trade more with one another, and hopefully that could sort of deflate a little bit all these challenges in high tariffs and so on.
I mean, drawing on that, economic cooperation has always been a pillar for ASEAN. So amid global uncertainties with the ongoing US-China trade war, could we see stronger regional trade initiatives or strategic partnership emerge from this summit?
Well, perhaps as the sort of initiating such initiatives or programs, you would see some of them in this summit. For example, getting rid of some of the non-tariff barriers among the ASEAN countries and so on. Because I think now it's rather urgent for all of us to try to sort of stay away from our traditional, very nationalistic point of view and embrace a more regional outlook for all. After all these leading economies in ASEAN, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and so on, we all depend a lot on trade and investment. If the trade and investments are not forthcoming from outside the region, well, then we have to trade with and invest more in each other.
Right. My last question. Chinese Premier Li Qiang is expected to attend the ASEAN GCC Summit. And Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim also extended an invitation to President Putin recently to the East Asia Summit. So what does this signal, in the broader terms, about ASEAN's position in the evolving geopolitical landscape? Are we witnessing a shift in ASEAN's diplomatic balance?
Well, of course, ASEAN has traditionally been very careful in navigating between all these very deep and dark waters of all these superpowers confronting one another, right? So we as ASEAN, we typically sort of avail ourselves, provide ourselves as a convenient forum. You mentioned, for example, the East Asia Summit. Well, it is a forum for all these leaders from around the world, not the least leaders of these superpowers, major powers, such that hopefully they could have a conversation, they could have a dialogue together. Just like President Trump, he likes to meet people face to face, right? Well, ASEAN, it's a very good forum for doing so. So we are open for all to come and try to meet one another so that we can indeed maintain regional peace and promote regional prosperity.
Right. Thank you so much. That was Dr. Oisan to talk about the upcoming ASEAN Summit. We're all looking forward to it.